All right, we're getting new details about a deadly shooting in Northeast Harris County. That is where a man killed his wife and injured an investigator. Tonight we are seeing and hearing how chaotic that scene was from a neighbor's security camera video.
I want answers. I want justice for my child.
So they failed to remove the guns. They failed to provide protection to her. And even while she had officers with her, he was allowed to access the home with his guns and came in and shot her.
It's a crazy day, you know. We talked about it last night, and she told me that she was in fear for her life last night, and I actually helped her lock up the house and get everything together, and then this happened.
She was sitting on her own couch, baby in her arms, 2 federal agents next to her. And somebody still found a way to hand her husband a map to her front door. Not a stranger. Not even a leak baby. Because on that day, in that moment, with all of that protection surrounding her, she was less safe than she had ever been. Someone made a phone call they should never have made. The institution she trusted with her complaint made that phone call. And Takara Hightower drove straight home. This story will have you talking to your TV. Takara Glenn, born in Peoria, Illinois. Her people called her Key. And Key was the kind of woman who did not do anything halfway. 6 children. And she showed up for every single one of them. Not just the big moments. The ordinary Tuesdays too. Every game, every school morning, every moment that just needed her to be present. Danielle was college-bound on a basketball scholarship, and Key was her loudest fan. Gabriella had already decided she was going to the WNBA. End of discussion. Gavin lived for video games and his boys. Giselle was already making TikTok videos with her Barbies. Her and her mum are filming together, just because they can. Gianna looked so much like Takara that people stopped mid-conversation to stare. And Giovanni, still brand new to this world, spent basically his entire young life right there in Takara's arms, which is exactly where he was on September 22nd. Takara moved this whole family from Illinois to Texas. Not for herself, but so her children would not have to lose the life they had built. She packed everything up and started over for them. Her best friend called her a lioness. Fearless, protective, entirely for her kids. Not a headline. A whole woman with a life and a laugh and a plan. Now, Gregory L. Hightower. Senior Chief Petty Officer. 19 years in the United States Navy. Career Counselor. Japan. Florida, California. 18 countries. Master Electrician Certification. Weeks from retirement. Had already bought an old motel back in Peoria. The Sharin. Planning to renovate it. Give back to his hometown. Be the guy with the comeback story. He had a personal mental health website. Called himself an author, a motivational speaker, a mentor. Honey, the bio read like a TED Talk application.
Just a relaxed person, just chill and relax. You know, he never, like, this incident does not seem like him at all.
A loop, that is the word. The public image was so well managed that even the people closest to him could not square the circle. Here is what did not make the website. In 2020, Gregory spent 20 days at a treatment center. Severe major depressive disorder. Then in 2021, the Navy sent him back for another 30 days. On his own platform, he wrote about depression, anxiety, anger, and avoidance. And look, getting help is not the red flag here. The red flag is the gap between what this man was saying publicly about healing and what Takara was privately watching happen inside that house. He had been buying guns. New ones. Recently. And she had noticed. She had not said anything yet. But she was watching him the way women watch men they have started to become afraid of. Carefully, quietly, and with both eyes open at all times. She was already thinking about leaving. She just needed to figure out how to do it without making things worse. July 16th, 2022. Deputies arrive at the Hightower home in Atascocita. Reports of a physical fight. Takara says Gregory hit her. Gregory says Takara hit him. Deputies note the mutual claims and issue a 24-hour separation order. Nobody is charged. No formal case goes anywhere. 1 day of mandated space, and then life resumes. A 24-hour order. That was the full intervention.
I don't know in terms of a time period. I was told that there were several incidents that had already been occurring. And so, that's the information that we have. And they were following up just to learn more about the allegations that were occurring.
Several. He said several, which means July was not an isolated incident or a misread situation. There was a pattern, and everyone who showed up to that address knew it. Fast forward to early September, 1 week before she dies. Takara contacts the Navy's Family Advocacy Program. This time she's not asking for space. She is reporting that Gregory's state of mind has been deteriorating, that an argument frightened not just her, but her children, that they no longer feel safe in their own home. She tells them he has been buying guns. She asks the Navy to remove him. She says she wants to separate. Safely. And here is the detail that lives rent-free in my head. Even while doing all of this, even while filing a complaint about a man she is scared of, Takara specifically asks the Navy to handle it in a way that will not end his 19-year career. The woman was still trying to protect him while she was trying to escape him. That is not weakness. That is what it looks like when someone has been conditioned to manage other people's emotions at the expense of their own safety. The Navy issues a no-contact order. Gregory leaves the home. A military protective order follows, allowing him 1 return trip to collect his belongings. When he comes back, Takara notices one of the handguns she had hidden is missing. He has it. She says nothing. Maybe she is second-guessing herself. Maybe she is afraid of what another report will, or will not, do. We will never know exactly what she was thinking. September 20th, 2 days before she dies. Takara calls the Harris County Sheriff's Office to ask how to file a restraining order. A deputy walks her through the steps. She is doing everything right. She is following every instruction. She just runs out of time before she can finish. September 22nd, 2022. 1:30 in the afternoon. 2 NCIS special agents are sitting in Takara's living room, sent to take her full statement. The older kids are at school. Giovanni is in Takara's arms. Gianna is nearby. For the first time in months, someone official is sitting there listening. She feels something close to relief. She is talking. She is being heard. 1 agent steps outside briefly. Routine calls. Next steps. A normal moment in what should have been a protected situation. According to the federal lawsuit, while that interview was actively happening. While Takara was sitting right there on her own couch, baby in arms, telling investigators what her husband had been doing. Naval Command called Gregory at work and told him that NCIS officers were at his home, interviewing his wife, about him, in real time. Let me say that plainly. They called him while it was happening. And they told him exactly where she was. Gregory announces he has a doctor's appointment, stands up, walks out of the building. Not one person stops him. Not one person thinks, maybe we should not let the man under a domestic violence investigation walk out after we just tipped him off about his wife's location. He gets in his black Honda Accord and drives straight to her. The front door does not open. It explodes. Gregory is already armed, already inside, already moving toward her. Takara tries. She does. But he is not there to talk. He raises the gun. He fires. Multiple shots. Her face. Her head. She is still holding Giovanni when she falls. The agents rush back in. 1 returns fire and hits Gregory in the lower stomach. Gregory engages the second agent outside, wounding him in the upper shoulder and lower abdomen. Then he runs, gets in the car, leaves. First responders find Takara with her back against the living room wall. Giovanni, alive, still in her arms. The two youngest are eventually released to family. The older children come home from school that afternoon and find out their entire world is gone.
The female inside the house, when our units arrived, found her deceased, still grabbing or holding on to her infant child. They were able to rescue the child and get him out to safety. The agents ran house to house trying to find some assistance, and a Good Samaritan thankfully opened the door, let the agents in, stabilize the situation briefly until an ambulance could get here and transport.
Gregory is bleeding from a stomach wound and driving 40 minutes across Houston. After everything, he does not go to a hospital. He does not try to disappear. He drives to his mother's apartment on Miss Lane in Northwest Houston. His mother, Brenda Cattell, sees him pull up, sees the blood, and she calls his own mother, trying to save him from himself. Harris County Precinct 4 deputies arrive. They find him in his car. They try to reach him, tell him it is over, that there is still another way through this. He jumps out of the car and opens fire. They return fire. Gregory is killed at the scene. Both parents of those 6 children are dead before the end of September 22nd, 2022. Same afternoon, hours apart.
So they failed to remove the guns, they failed to provide protection to her, and even while she had officers with her, he was allowed to access the home with his guns and came in and shot her.
January 2025. Takara's family files a federal wrongful death lawsuit. 7 plaintiffs, her estate and her 6 children, each seeking $30 million. 4 failures alleged. They told Gregory about the interview while it was happening. They let him walk out of work unchecked. They did not confiscate his firearms despite having the authority. And they failed to protect her even with agents in the room. The Navy filed to dismiss, claiming immunity. As of today, the case is still pending in federal court.
I try to stay focused, mainly on the kids because that keeps me going.
I want answers. I want justice for my child.
Like, it won't bring her back, but I want to bring awareness to anybody that's dealing with something like this.
Takara was one of 216 Texans killed in domestic violence homicides in 2022. The second highest number in a decade. More than half of those people had already taken steps to report and address the abuse before they were killed. They asked for help. They followed the instructions. And they are still gone. Chanitha Glenn moved from Illinois to Texas the day her daughter died. She is raising those children every single day without their mother because someone in a position of authority made a phone call that gave a dangerous man a real-time update on his victim's location and then watched him walk out the door. Takara did everything right. She reported. She filed. She cooperated. She sat in her living room with federal agents beside her and believed it meant she was finally safe. That is the part of this story that should not sit right with any of us. Not just the act, but the question of who is accountable when the system built to protect someone becomes the reason they are no longer here. The case is still in court. Her children are still growing up, and that phone call has never been fully explained. Drop that in the comments. Who do you hold responsible? Gregory, the Navy, or both? Because I have a feeling this comment section is about to have a lot to say.